This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Hello, scumbags. Welcome back to Never Tell Me the Odds, the show where one or two or maybe even more people tell odds, and other people are surprisingly okay with it, despite the fact that the title said that they probably shouldn't do that. I'm Andrew Fantasia, and I am joined by the wonderful executive producer Heidi Fetter. Hello.
Hello, Andrew. How are you?
I'm pretty groovy. I'm sitting right next to my Christmas tree, and I don't know if you can tell on this side of my face, but it's basking me in warm Christmas glow, right? It's got like the twinkle lights coming on this side. Maybe you'll catch a reflection in my glasses when I turn, but it's wonderful. I love sitting next to this thing. How are you?
I'm good. It snowed here today, but other than that.
Ooh, yeah, we got a pretty big snowdrop today too. This was one of those school buses canceled kind of days over here. I don't know if it got that bad. Nice. Snow days are the best.
Yeah, in school.
Really, they should have snow days for everybody, not just school kids. Like at this point, we've just been through a pandemic. Employers should learn their lesson and be like, hey, you know what? Let's not make our employees drive through blizzards to get to our demeaning offices or places of work.
Well, I work for the post office, so I've driven through blizzards while I was working. So.
Oh, wow. That's right. You guys have that whole no rain or sleet or snow kind of thing, right?
Yeah, unless, I think if it's a certain amount, they tell us to stay home because they don't want any more accidents.
Exactly. No hydro bill is worth the risk.
Yeah.
Well, we've got three spectacular odds that, let me check my notes, have nothing to do with snow. No Hoth-related odds to speak of, but that's okay. We can pretend all the odds we're talking about takes place on Hoth. Heidi, you've got a cool odd for us. Why don't you go ahead and go use yours first?
Well, this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out. My odd is, what are the odds that Cyril is actually a serial killer? Now, before you answer, just let me give you my reasons. One, if this was the DC universe, he eats cereal all the time. His name is Cyril. So if this was DC, it'd be screaming, this guy's a serial killer. He has a secret box. He's a mama's boy, kind of like Norman Bates.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if his mother is even dead. Maybe he killed his mother and it's like Dexter. He's just seeing her image. I don't know. All these crazy thoughts go through my head. So I guess one of my odds is maybe he's a serial killer and he's obsessed with Deidre and he's going to try and kill her if she rejects him. So
this is a great odd. I would not put it past this man for a second. He even has the Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins kind of vibe to him. Yeah. The first time he popped up in episode 1, I remember looking at him and being like, this is a spooky, spooky dude. I think the odds of him being a serial killer are 83%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go high for this one because we've not seen that in Star Wars yet. Yeah. So it would be really cool. Andor does not seem like the kind of show that would be afraid of tackling that kind of stuff. And you're right. All the ingredients are there.
Yeah.
I feel like his mom might be his first victim because of how demeaning she is. And like clearly he's not a fan of hers. It's only a matter of time before we get a scene where Deidre goes to his apartment and he's wearing his mom's wig and he's like, hello, right? Like it's going to happen. That it is, the path ahead of him is paved and clear and ready for that. So yeah, I'm going high. I think Cyril Karn is going to serial kill somebody. Now, the fun that the show can have is playing with what's the most interesting from a storytelling standpoint. Who's the most interesting victim for him to have aside from his mom? Deidre it's totally an option. Like, could he kill somebody that really just completely alters the events of the story? This is great. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. There would also be maybe Luthen's assistant or Bix.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, until she got set up with until Mon Mothma's daughter got set up with her future husband, I thought maybe she could be a possibility.
Oh, well, you never know. Her and her husband could still both be targets now.
Right. I'm just gonna go 60%. That's just a guess on my part. Like I said, if this was a DC universe, I mean DC, they're good at naming their villains. Their monikers like Harleen Quinzel and
yeah, Victor Freeze.
Yeah, and like I said, believe in even Marvel named the character Dr. Von Doom. So
yeah, some of these names ain't too subtle.
Right. So like I said, if this was like a comic book, he would definitely be a serial killer. But I don't know if Star Wars deals that way or not. But I don't think they normally do. But like Skywalker, I guess.
I guess so.
And Porkins.
Poor Porkins. And Elan Sleaze Bagano. I think that was the most egregious one.
Yes, I'm just gonna go 60%. I'm not as confident in you because it was just a guess on my part. But...
No, I think you're onto something, Heidi. I think he's on the way to getting there. Who knows? It could end up being like a home invasion serial killing situation, and he goes for the Mothma household.
Yeah.
And that's why we've never heard from Mothma's daughter or husband again. Cyril has his way. I like this a lot. The next odd for us are, we will have, never tell me the odds, will we have a Reylo novel at some point? A Reylo novel.
Well, it depends what you mean, because if you go on DeviantArt, that's 100%, because there's plenty of interesting novels and pictures on DeviantArt. I would love a Reylo novel, even canon, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of Reylo novels out there that aren't canon.
Oh, yeah.
I would like that, but I'm just going to go 30%, because I don't know how much of a fan favorite that is. What the percentage of Star Wars fans are Reylo fans like me?
Yeah, I'm going low as well. The novels are tricky for me. I've really been gradually more and more just disinterested in the novels.
Yeah.
They have really just continued to not impress me. There have been some really good ones, but overall, I don't find them as interesting as I did maybe 4 years ago. And the idea of a Reylo novel, see, Rey and Kylo, the only non-canon time that they could have possibly spent together that we haven't seen yet. Sorry, when I say non-canon, sorry, the only canon time that they could have spent together that we could have possibly seen yet is that 1 year in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And I'm pretty sure she was busy being a Jedi and he was busy being a fascist. I don't think they ever occupied the same room. So a Reylo novel, if it's canon, it would have to be some kind of like, it's post episode 9 and she's talking to his ghost and his ghost is like, I love you, but I'm a ghost. That's my Adam Driver. If you close your eyes, it's like he's really here. I'm part of the Force now, right? But I'm sorry when I said you were nothing at episode 8. That was a really mean thing of me to say. That was bad. And she's like, it's okay. Let's be friends. And then like that's really the only way I could see a full novel coming out of this. So I'm going low to the ground. I'm going to go 8%.
You were rehearsing that scene before we started recording, weren't you?
Maybe. I may have talked to my vocal coach about getting my best Daisy Ridley down so that I could be ready for this.
I mean,
Yeah.
the only other thing, it sounds like they were dreaming about each other because they were a dyad in the Force, and that might have been why they had such a close connection. Maybe they've actually dreamt about each other for years before they actually met, or maybe they had Force visions in between 8 and 9. Who knows?
Yeah, they could have had some Force Skype dreams between 8 and 9. You're absolutely right. So it's definitely not an impossibility. And I mean, that was their whole Force Skype thing was one of the coolest parts of that trilogy, and how they used the Force in that new way, ripping beads off and stuff. Like they took that to a whole new level. So you might get something along those lines that explores the Force in a deep, deep way. So who knows? It's not impossible. And I mean, Disney knows there's a Reylo fan base out there.
Yes.
So, and speaking of Rey, that brings us to our final odd of the day, Heidi, because we need to know, or rather, we need to ask ourselves, will we hear about an episode 10, or will we hear about a continuation of Rey's story by the end of 2023?
Oh boy. I don't know, because even if we do, we might not even get it because things get pitched and then they turn out to be nothing. So I would be thrilled for a continuation of the story, and maybe like, and then Kylo Ren like her Force guide or something. I don't know if they can have a relation. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she has a immaculate conception with him. I don't know. I would love that, but
Oh no. Oh no, we have lost Heidi. Kylo Ren must have heard us talking about him from the netherworld, and he's very upset. It's okay. We're going to get her back. I will just make sure she has our link. It's crazy because we've had such a great run with StreamYard the past couple of videos that I've done, and there's been no issue, and now all of a sudden StreamYard and the internet are just going bananas on us. So let me, oh, here we go. Heidi is back. Heidi is back.
it might be the weather.
Hi, Heidi.
It's the weather is bad. It's like it's freezing rain outside, so that's
Yeah, the weather outside is frightful. Don't worry. I was riffing till you came back, so it's all good. So sorry, you were talking about the possibility of seeing Rey's story continue and hearing about it at least before the end of 2023.
I'm just gonna give it 10%. I mean, if you want to go into next year, maybe if you can go to 2024, maybe you can be more like 35%. But I'm just gonna go with 10% for this year, for 2023. I would like that, but I don't. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, the odds of hearing that news are definitely higher than the odds of that news coming to fruition.
Right.
Right. If in your perfect world, Heidi, if Lucasfilm called you right now and said, Heidi, we want you, for some reason, it's George Lucas actually calling you. And he's like, Heidi, you have free reign. You can decide how we return Rey and continue her story. What would you have us do? What are you saying to George?
I would just have her go back to her academy, maybe training Finn. Like I said, maybe having Kylo Ren or Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost guiding her.
Yeah, I like that. Right,
maybe the relationship continues. I don't know if you can do that. If it's one of my novels, you can do that.
With a ghost, hey, they might open up some new avenues. We've all seen what Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg were able to accomplish when they worked together, right? Maybe Finn will let like Kylo possess him,
Yeah,
and then he'll be
I'm
like,
sure Finn But
Yeah, Finn would be okay with that too. He'd be like, "All right, Ray, it's totally me. It's Kylo. Let's go make some pottery." I kind of want to see this now. I'm gonna go with kind of lowish odds too, because you're right. The odds of hearing it are one thing. The odds of seeing it are totally different. I'll say that the odds we hear news that we continue Ray's story, or we hear news of an episode 10, are a good 17%.
okay.
And the odds that it actually ends up happening afterwards all slide down to about 12%. It personally, for me, what I would like to see is, obviously, if the actors are all on board, sure, make episode 10. That's my first choice. Yes, do it. Make episode 10. However, it doesn't look like the chances are great that Daisy, John, and Oscar are all down to do another trilogy or movie or whatever. So if that ends up being the case, if it ends up being the case where one or more of the actors is like, nah, I'm done with Star Wars, I don't want to do this anymore, then what I would love to see is just give those characters the Dave Filoni treatment and make a beautiful Clone Wars-esque animated series about their further adventures.
That's true.
Because that show, that is as far as I'm concerned, that is the world building king of any Star Wars thing ever. It broadened the horizons of the galaxy so much, to the point where everything we watch and everything that comes out today, whether it's books or shows, whatever, has taken offerings that the Clone Wars has given up and said, wow, okay, you made this part of the universe. Great. Can we play there? So do that to the sequel era, because the sequel era desperately needs more world building.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can have our further adventures of Rey and Finn and Poe and see what they get up to. And Rose, let's give Rose some love. Have Rose come back and do a lot of great things. So I would totally be down for that.
Okay.
And who knows? We might even get a pottery scene in the cartoon. Maybe Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni will be like, let's try this and see what happens. Let's push the boundaries of cartoon a bit. And we'll have the Cantina Band playing a version of Unchained Melody, and all will be well. I'm sorry I put that image and sound into everybody's heads. Well, those are our 3 odds for today. And I like these. I like these. These have opened my eyes, Heidi. These have opened my eyes to some neat possibilities. And I'll even tell you this. I am 1% more of a Reylo fan now than I was before we started recording this video. And that's no joke. Yeah. Because I was never really on the Reylo train. I'm not really... I liked the idea of Ben staying bad more than him being redeemed and getting the love story and all that. So, but the idea of them trying to see what that relationship might be like when one of them is a ghost, that's cool. that's really cool. And it could have some really neat ramifications for the Star Wars galaxy at large. So I like this. Heidi, do you have anything you want to plug or let anybody know what you're up to or things you're making, books you're writing, things like that?
I'm always writing books. I only brought yours with me. I forgot to grab mine.
Where can people buy yours?
Anywhere on Amazon.com, either under the name Andrighton for 3 of my books, or Heidi Fetter for my one called His Enchanted Swan, about a retelling of Swan Lake in modern times. But they're not for kids. Don't buy them for kids.
Perfect. And you can always find me on Twitter and the Instagram at Andrew Fantasia, talking about Star Wars related things or MCU related things on our sister show Infinity Rewatch, where our holiday specials are in full swing right now too. But until we see you all again, please may the force of others constantly stay with you. Have a safe and wonderful holiday season, especially you, Heidi, because you, apart from being an awesome Star Wars fan and a great writer, we're always scum.
And so are you.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.